Greetings to all. Neville Goddard introduced the concept of brazen impudence in his lectures, because it hasn't been mentioned using that precise term, as opposed to living from the end. Some of you may not have heard about it. Understanding this concept, however, is essential since it enables you to hold fast to your assumptions. Impudence, or being impudent, is not treating others with respect, whereas brazen means bold and without shame. Therefore, brazen impudence means to openly claim that your wish has been granted and to ignore your current limits. Neville stated at the beginning of the lecture that a new idea will not become part of your common currency of thought until it has been repeated numerous times and you have started to live by it. Repeating the idea repeatedly will help it become your reality. Crying or putting blame will not help you escape your current situation. Instead, claim with confidence that the new reality in your mind is the solution. It is comparable to having a childlike assumption, where a child wants something and knows that he will get it. Spending your day worrying about the how and when he will get it won't help you, so walk on the premise that you already have it. Also in his speech, he emphasizes that because God is almighty and omniscient, you do not need to ask anyone for help in receiving the fulfillment of a request. He inhabits you as your very own magnificent lioness. Everyone who is outside of you is your slave, willing and able to carry out your instructions. Knowing what you desire is all that is required. Create a scene that suggests your goal has been fulfilled. Enter the scene and stay there. Your fantasy will come true if your imaginary counselor happens to agree with the material utilized to support it. It costs you nothing to consciously conceive if it does not start anew by constructing a fresh scene. Neville advised writing a fresh scene if the previous one did not satisfy you, which means it did not make you feel as though your wish had been granted. I observe people forcing themselves to visualize and asking one another what scene they should construct, but this does not allow them to leave an impression on their subconscious mind. Create a scene of your own, then, that suggests that your wish has been granted. I hugged a particular person at a particular location that I mentioned in one of my previous videos, which was one of the images I visualized in my thoughts, and which actually happened. Another scene I consciously manifested involved talking to a certain girl outside of a specific food vendor for a short while, but the rest of the story is what actually happened. One day, I saw her crossing the lane in front of my house. I then closed my eyes and saw speaking with her in front of a store. On another occasion, we simply exchanged glances as she passed by my gym. My mother requested that I go out and buy some cottage cheese later that evening when I was at home. She was outside that food vendor when I returned from the store after going in, and we struck up a discussion and exchanged Instagram IDs. Both situations, never once did I try to compel anything to happen physically. I was satisfied as I internally visualized it. We are all driven by the desire to experience wealth. We must allow ourselves to experience those emotions because only those emotions matter. The sentiments of being accomplished and appreciated. We use artifacts to attempt to give these sentiments a sign. He might view a man in a suit driving his Mercedes Maybach as a success symbol. I never thought I'd meet and talk to that girl after my mom told me to go buy something. She and I were conversing in my scene. It's simply that I hadn't intended for it to go exactly as it did. I didn't care how or when it happened. I was just happy that it was projected outside since inner reality is the cause and outside reality is the outcome. Would you like a job? Instead of manifesting about the job interview, why not just start imagining that you are employed and working there? Do you want to be in a relationship with this specific person? If yes, just imagine being with them, rather than waiting for a text from them. Instead than striving to win the lottery. If you want to be wealthy, just start presuming and claiming it. There are no restrictions on the effectiveness of belief or the potential of prayer, but you must be brazenly impudent and refuse to accept defeat. Try it, and stop acting like you can't. You need to start assuming that you have it, and keep presuming it until your presumptions start to seem real. By holding to your presumptions firmly, you come to understand that this is how you discover God and yourself. I am aware that some of you are living through unpleasant situations and experiencing things that are really unsettling. You may feel demotivated when interacting with your particular person because they may be rejecting your offer of a romantic relationship. You may also believe that these situations trigger you, and you frequently spiral in these situations. What if, though, I told you that these situations are genuinely for your benefit? What if I said that these circumstances would be really helpful for your manifestation? What would you think? Although I'm sure you'll be shocked, learning from the worst-case scenario is beneficial. And I'll explain why. By the time we reach the end of this video, you will fully understand why these unfortunate events are beneficial and how to make the most of them. Let me start out by explaining that an idea or a situation is neither positive nor negative. You are the only one who can attribute a negative or positive quality to this creation. It simply exists. As a result, anytime someone says that an event has been great or unfavorable, it is based on their assumptions and goals. As it is a topic that is frequently discussed and to which many of you may identify, allow me to elaborate by using the example of a specific person. This situation only serves as an illustration of the name chosen. Let's assume Juliet found these success stories and videos, and she came to the realization that if someone else could manifest a relationship with a certain person, she could do the same for Juliet's lifelong crush, who had rejected her offer of a relationship. She attends dates. He rejects her attempt to initiate a relationship, however, by claiming that he has been hurt in the past and cannot place his trust in another person. Now that Juliet is frustrated, she starts to suspect that he doesn't desire a relationship. Juliet now informs her friend of what transpired and the fact that the guy isn't looking for a relationship. By continuing to act in this way and whining that she has been trying for months and that he doesn't want a relationship, Juliet is only serving to confirm her earlier opinion. There are a lot of Juliets out there, and some of you are in a similar predicament in that by continuing to tell your old stories, you are practically living the new story. By exposing your mind to the new story, you renew it and experience something extraordinary. But how can Juliet's unfortunate situation be a blessing? How is it that she can't make the most of it? You would understand that this outer world is a reflection of the inner world if you had read about manifestation and reality creation. Your feelings provide evidence of the external world, and your state of consciousness represents your outer experience. Therefore, instead of becoming indifferent in that situation, Juliet ought to have embraced and been grateful for it, because it made clear the predominant belief she has about her crush or the idea of relationships. She might be assuming in her head that if someone is injured, they shouldn't put their trust in people, and she might be experiencing this with her crush. Therefore, the argument I'm trying to make is that the outside is a reflection of our inner world, and that individuals often operate on our core beliefs. Juliet may have entertained the notion of a harmful relationship at some point in her life. Since her existing circumstances serve as a benefit in that they reveal her prevailing beliefs, she must be unconcerned with them when manifesting a relationship. Since we are all on a quest for knowledge, it is possible that you hold beliefs that are different from mine and differ from Juliet's. Every aspect of your life is influenced by these assumptions. Some people's worlds reflect their belief that there is just a very tiny quantity of money available. Some individuals mistakenly feel that getting rich requires robbing others. You believe that since money is so readily available and so simple to earn, it will also be so in reality. As a result, anytime you encounter situations that seem bad, consider them a blessing because they are teaching you what you need to alter about your inner self. Be thankful because you have the power to change things by altering your inner beliefs and assumptions, instead of grumbling and putting the blame. Be sincere with yourself about your feelings for the person you're trying to manifest, as well as your feelings toward money. Only these emotions have a physical manifestation in your world. Your inner knowledge of those things is coming to life in your world. As you switch from that feeling to another, it materializes before your very eyes. However, the majority of you are focused on what is occurring in your everyday world. However, only your personal experiences count. Manifestation is constantly focused on your inner world, replaying the same old story over and again while living it as you create it in reality. Always make up new stories for yourself. At first, it could seem unusual, but as you do it more frequently, it starts to make itself known. Never believe that if I act now, it will happen later. Always assume that it has already materialized and is being felt by you. Always assume that everything will eventually turn out to be fantastic. There must be joy in life. You can approve or reject my suggestion. You are completely in control. Your experience is entirely under your control. When praying for wealth, being aware of your poverty matters to you because you will only receive what you are aware of. As a reward, they presumptuously possess the sought object's favorable consciousness. So I hope you gained some new understanding today. For more of these videos, subscribe. Enjoy manifesting.